We just finished moving the sheep down to the field, and I'm looking at where I had spread out wood chips. It's looking like it's holding moisture. It's growing green grass. You can see all the wood chips in between the grass, but the grass looks nice where the wood chips are. And it was looking pretty bare, like this spot over here, just bare dirt. But I think they're in here too early. I hope they're not gonna do much damage. I think they just came from up there, and I think we're gonna start watering the areas that they just left. We got a little bit of rain last night that just completely wet the ground, but wasn't an ongoing rain. You might wonder, why haven't we already been watering since we're having this drought? And the reason I was slow to get around to it is because last year we did some watering right here in this grass, and we couldn't tell. You couldn't even tell that there was any change whatsoever. I'm back down here at Claire's. I've been doing some digging. So there's her place where we're gonna be pouring the concrete. And then I've been digging the trench, and now I'm here. And then you can't quite see it, but the well and stuff is right here behind these trees. I've actually cut off my path that goes down to the pond. I finally decided to grab that new canopy. It was a little bit tight. It's a little bit small, but it did fit. And the Velcro on the corners connects, so it should stay on there pretty good. This is the old one laying on the ground. I need to go throw that in the trash pile. I don't think I told you the story about that little piece of pipe right there. I was digging along down through here, and I got near there and was trying to put the canopy in, and it was sort of in the way. So I grabbed the pipe and picked it up. And then I thought I heard some kind of like machine or something. And I looked in the pipe and there was a wasp nest. So I threw it down and took off running. It took an hour before the wasps calmed down. I mean, they calmed down in a few minutes to where they weren't gonna sting me. But that's right next to where I was digging, and I wasn't gonna pick the pipe up again. So I was very cautious for the next hour digging in that area. Huge truck. Okay, this one's 90% done. You can tell they're not quite done yet. Concrete guys have been gone for about an hour now, and I'm coming over to take another look. I didn't see the completely finished product. It looks beautiful. You know, the container's gonna sit on top of, well, this is gonna be a floor, you know, we'll put tile or something down on this floor. But this part over here is all gonna be container, so it's all gonna be covered up permanently. They did their broom swept texture. The container guy is gonna come Thursday. That's a week from now. Between now and then, I need to cut off these pipes and get it ready for the container to slide on. Also, we need to empty that container. We've been using it for storage, so there's a bunch of stuff in there. We're gonna have to haul all that out of there. I might have to use the tractor to move some of those things and put it in the barn where the tractor normally parks. Then after we set the container here, I think we're gonna work on building the roof over the container before we start doing the work inside the container. It wouldn't surprise me if this concrete could handle rain right now. I see a little bit of that lightning color where it's starting to be almost dry. I know it's got some curing to do over the next few days, but it looks like the surface is drying. I'm about to grab my shovel and keep on digging. I just have a little bit to go to be able to hook into the box, hook into the well. There's something about just spending hours digging that you're just in the creation with the creator, and you can just communicate and rest while you're working harder than ever. Bringing stuff from the container into the barn. So we have the container scheduled to be moved. I guess I'll take all this plumbing down to the home site. When the container's there, we'll put it in there. Later we'll install it in there. The sun is out a lot today, and it is really warm standing in the sun. But I guess it probably has been every day, and I just haven't noticed because I've been staying in the shade. We have several days to get our stuff out of the container, so I'm not gonna do it all today. I just thought I'd get a start. I need Caleb to go and get his stuff. He's got maybe 30% of the stuff that's in there that he needs to take out and put in his house. I did so much explaining before that I thought I'd bring you down here and show you how this came out after the slab. These plumbing wraps. I already started cutting the plastic off of this one. I'm actually gonna trim this thing flush with the concrete. I'm just showing it to you before I do that. But once I cut it flush, then the container can slide over it without damaging it. So here I'm pulling the foam out, and that was holding it steady so that this would stay right in the center. So now there's my gravel down in the bottom, and this is coming through the concrete and keeping that pipe. It's keeping that pipe centered where I can, when I cut this off, I'll be able to put a coupling on there and then put a new pipe. So once the container's on top, I'll cut a hole in the container, I'll find this pipe because I have measurements to show me right where it is, and I'll be able to just stick a new pipe onto it, and then it'll come up into the wall and do what the pipes are supposed to do. Right now, I'm just gonna put that foam back in partially, and then maybe if it rains, maybe some of the rain will just roll off. I don't think there'd be any problem if this filled full of water and soaked into the ground underneath, but you know, what the heck. And I'll go ahead and leave the plastic on all of those until I'm ready to just cut them off. This one will work very similar. I'll cut this off flush, and you think, well, how can you crimp a fitting on there? I'm not gonna worry about crimping any fitting onto this pipe. I'll just cut back this foam, and I'll put one of those shark bite attachments. I'll put a shark bite coupling onto that after I got the floor opened up, and add a new pipe on. The shark bites actually make me nervous. You just slide the pipe right onto the fitting, and then it grips and it stays and holds your 40 psi or whatever of water. That just makes me nervous, but that's what it's made for, and I've put in a bunch of them and haven't had any fail yet. You know, some things, even though they're made to work and they do work, they just make you nervous. Plumbing in general makes me nervous, or makes me more nervous than electrical. You would think electrical seems more dangerous, but plumbing, you know, it just often has a hidden leak that destroys things and you don't even know it until you start discovering, hey, something's destroyed. And even the insurance companies, you know, something might be leaking slowly. It takes it a year for it to destroy your wood under the floor or whatever. And then the insurance company says, oh, we don't take care of things that have slow damage like that. You should have discovered that when it first happened. Imagine like a tiny pinhole in a pipe that's hidden in a wall, and it's just spraying water, but it's spraying such a tiny mist that it's just getting the inside of the wall wet, filling that wall full of mold, while it's not enough water to come flowing out onto the floor and where you can see it. But maybe it gets under the floor, and after a while you wonder, why is my floor buckled like this? I don't know. I could go on and on. Okay, I've gotten really close to my electrical box now, and I'm gonna, just like the pipe they put in to bring the power to the box, you know, the electrical company, I want to do the same thing. I want to have the wire coming out to come through the trench up to the house. Here is the wire that, well, this isn't the wire, but this is the warning tape that tells me the wire is right under here. And then I started digging over there at the pipe, and I found the kind of warning tape or whatever right there by the pipe. I'm really close to my box, and I'm gonna have to dig very carefully as I come in closer, just to make sure that I don't dig my shovel through the insulation into the electrical wire.